Live from Darth Easy Studios in Eddyville, Kentucky. It's time for another episode of Darth Easy's Evolution of Survivor Strategy. Tonight we're breaking down the sixth season of Survivor in the Amazon, the Battle of the Sexes, and the genius mind of Rob Cesternino as he flip-flops his way to the final three. Your host, Darth Easy. Hello, Easy Nation, and welcome to another episode of the Darth Easy Evolution of Survivor Strategy. I hope everyone's doing well, and, this is a kind of sad day because, I got off work, and I was, really excited about my weekend. I've been working on this new series on my YouTube channel called the Top 100 Movies of All Time. So, my whole plan this weekend was to basically watch some Survivor, edit that series, and get it going. And then I heard Chadwick Boseman died. Now, I just want to pay a little tribute to the guy because I was a big fan of his. I really liked his movies really liked him in Jackie Robinson. That movie, I don't consider it's not incredible or anything, but his performance in that movie is great. And obviously, another film that it's very underrated that he's good in, he's not in it a lot, but Draft Day, he plays incredible character in that film. And then obviously Black Panther. I mean, he was incredible as Black Panther, and he's a very good reason why. And yeah, so it's sad to hear him dead. So my episode on Wednesday of the Top 100 will be kind of a dedication in memory of Chadwick Boseman. So yeah, I just want to say rest in peace, man. You lived well. You still worked, even though you've had colon cancer for 5 years now, or 4 years. And that's pretty impressive. Most people would just try to fight it, but you try to make a difference, and Wakanda forever, man. Alright, let's get right into the season of Survivor. This was a very fun season of Survivor to rewatch. I haven't seen this season in a very long time. I only remember bits and pieces of it. I'm a big fan Rob Cesternino's podcast. Rob has a podcast, and I listen to a lot of his Survivor stuff, mostly just the Survivor know-it-alls between him and Stephen Fishbach. So it was kind of interesting to go back and watch his original season of Survivor. And I have to say, this might be my favorite season of Survivor so far, my rewatch. It's either this or Survivor Borneo, but let's get right into it. Let's talk about this season. So the season starts out with it's the Battle of the Sexes. And they split the tribes up for the first time, men versus women. And it was very interesting because the men were like, oh yeah, we're never going to lose a challenge. Yeah. And guess what happens? They lose the first challenge. And really they get their butts kicked by the women most of the first part of the game. And it's kind of interesting watching the guys playing their games, the females playing their games. Because, the guys, they're more of the guys are just bros and everything. But then the women are a little more crazier because you have people like Jenna, Heidi, and Shauna who they want to use their sexual female wiles to lure the men into these traps and to completely play them along. So it was very interesting, this theme. It was the first Survivor season to have an actual theme. And so, it's going back and forth, and eventually when we get to the final 12, the two tribes, they decide to mix the tribes up. They split them up by, what they do is they pick the two youngest members of Jenna and Dave, and they spend a night talking, and then the next day they basically do schoolyard pick. They pick who they want on each other's tribes and everything. And this is where it gets very interesting. You have Rob, who puts on the other tribe. He kind of feels betrayed by Dave. He never really liked Dave at all, to be honest with you. But he starts building this alliance he joins up with the alliance of Dina, Jenna, and that was it on that side of the tribe. And basically, he never really liked Matthew. But it was kind of interesting watching Rob work, where he didn't like the guy, but he knows he could completely manipulate and control him. So he finds that it's better if I take Matthew along, teach him how to play this game, and just kind of string him along and teach him the ways of the Force if you get a kind of sense of it. So we get to the merge, and let's get right into the merge, and this is where the game gets very interesting because the tribes are it's 6-4. There are 6 men, 4 women left, and you have the people like Roger and Dave who are thinking, all right, it's gonna be us guys, final 6. Let the best man win once we get there. But something interesting happens. Basically, Rob, Alex, and Matthew team up with Jenna, Heidi, Christina, I believe that was her name, and did I say Dina? But anyways, they basically split the vote, and Roger goes home. Someone who's in one of the more funny Survivor voting confession with Rob when he goes, "This vote, dear Casey, can you please play a song out for this old man?" Well, Rob, here you go. Na 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 na. Hey hey hey. Goodbye. I mean, this is probably one of the funniest seasons of Survivor, and Rob is hilarious in this season. And the cast makes a Survivor season, and this cast really makes it. So once we get to the final 9, Rob wants to take out his biggest threat, Dave. Basically, Dave goes home. They're trying to split the vote on Matthew, but they weren't having it. So we get to the final 8. And this is where the cracks in the big alliance really happens. And basically, Dina views Alex as her biggest threat. Because Matthew, we can take him out anytime. He's not going to win. Dina views Alex as a threat. But Jenna, whenever she hears that, she's like, oh, hell no, I kind of like this guy, and we're not going to take out, I don't want him taken out, so I'm going to flip the vote on Dina. And Dina goes home, and her and Rob had a very interesting alliance where you're 2 people that just you would not think would be together, but you know what, they played a terrific game together, but Dina goes home. So then we get to the final 7. And now we have the dominant alliance between Alex, Jenna, Heidi, and Rob. And Alex makes the boneheaded move to tell Rob that, man, it's us 4. I consider you 3 my friend. But he tells Rob, he says, once we get to the final 4, and if I win immunity and you don't, I'm probably going to vote you out. So Rob sits there, spewing and thinking, like, so I have this offer where I could go to the final 4 and keep my word and keep my thing. But I came here to lie, cheat, and steal and win this game. And so that alliance he built with Matthew, where he was basically coaching him through how to play this game, where he told Matthew to connect himself with Butch, get Christina, who hates Jenna and Heidi, gets them 3, forms his own Final 4 alliance, and takes out Alex, his biggest threat, because he would not take him to the final 2. And it's the interesting thing called side alliances. And Rob really introduced this game, building alliances, but then flip-flopping on alliances back and forth, which we see other future survivors do in the future. But Rob really became the central role of that. And a lot of that has to do with the way Rob plays this game. It's not like any survivor that's ever played, but there is another reality stars that he modeled his game after, and that is the Dr. Will Kirby from Big Brother 2 and Danielle Reyes from Big Brother 3. He is known for saying that his game is inspired from them two, the way they play the game. And if you really look at it, Rob, once he gets Alex out, he controls everything. And like the girl, Christina, did not want to really flip on. She was like, I don't know, I don't really want to know. So what does Rob do? He doesn't trust this girl because she doesn't tell him what she's going to do. So he takes out the swing boat and then goes after Jenna and Heidi. Probably a bad move, to be honest with you, but it's interesting because I don't know where this basically floater or one who has this power is going. So I need to take out that person. Genius moves. I mean, absolutely genius moves by Rob, and he hides it by humor and everything. And like I say, he's puppeting Matthew along. But then as we get to the final five and then the final four, Rob's like, okay, I need to actually get to the finals. And he has that alliance with Matthew, and they get rid of Butch in the final four because Jenna wins the immunity. And Matthew's like, it doesn't matter what happens in the final three. I don't have to win the competition or not. So why would I want to win if they're going to take me to the finals anyways, because the other is going to be harder to beat. And Rob couldn't win that final three immunity challenge, and Jenna takes him out. I mean, smart move on her part. And the thing about Rob, and this is part of the title of the episode, which I'm naming Chapter 6, Side Alliances, Flip-Flopping, and Self-Awareness. I don't know of a survivor that isn't more self-aware than Rob Cesternino, because he knew exactly where he stood in the game. He could have coasted to the final. We've seen many players do this all the time. We saw Sue Hawk do this. We saw the girl from Thailand do it the last season we watched. Rob, he's not going to sit there. He's going to do whatever it takes to win this game. And, I've been speaking a lot about Rob because this is the Evolution Survivor Strategy, and Rob Cesternino really developed more of the evolution of the Survivor game that we see as the seasons go along. And the final vote, and so Jenna goes to the finals. Jenna, is she the most deserving person to win the game of the two? Yes, because Matthew kind of drove people nuts, and he didn't really make any moves on his own. But Jenna actually did play the game a little bit. She played a very good social game, especially at the end of the game. Like, she may not have had the greatest game throughout, but she was always in the control and force of the game, and she was able to just dominate her game, and then she went on a great immunity run. She won a bunch of challenges at the end, and she won by 6-1 vote. It was the biggest blowout so far. She completely handed an easy victory for her, and so she definitely deserves to win this season because she took out Rob, who Rob was trying to make that deal. It's like, drop and I'll take you to the finals. Drop and I'll take you to the finals. And Jen's like, no, let's play this out, because she knows if she doesn't beat Rob here, she's going to lose. She's going to lose. So, and she even says, I want to take the most deserving person. No, you don't. That's a bullshit answer. So, yeah, that's Survivor Amazon. One of my favorite seasons in my rewatch so far. I really enjoyed watching this season of Survivor. And yeah, this has been a fun season. I'm looking forward to watching the next season, which is Pearl Islands, which is one of the seasons I remember a lot. I don't remember every little scene, but I remember a lot of Survivor Pearl Islands. I mean, seeing Rupert for first time again, that's going to be a cool season. All right, guys, that ends this episode of the Evolution Survivor Strategy. Amazon, fun season. That's in the books. So let's move on to the next episode, which will be probably in the next few days or maybe longer. So, guys, I hope y'all like this video. Make sure you're clicking that like and subscribe button to keep up to date with all what's going on in the Darth Easy Show podcast network. And also make sure you check out my main YouTube channel, Darth Easy. Like I said earlier, I've been doing my top 100 movies of all time. I have had 3 videos so far, and I just talked about my 95 through... Actually, I just talked about my 100 through 96 movies. Yeah, so check that out now, and like I said, it'll be up every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And guys, remember, stay kind out there. COVID's still going on. Crazy riots are still happening, and let's remember. Yeah, and guys, until next time, Wakanda forever.